morning, everybody. How are we doing? And I've missed the light. 2 seconds. Okay. That'll do. Right. Good morning, Stelly. How you doing? How's it going? Right, I'll move the chat over to here for now. So yes, good morning to Stelly. Good morning, WC. I'm having a coffee too. I've got my flask down there, and it's all good. So, what's been happening since yesterday? Tell you what, the last live stream feels like ages ago, really, like a real long time. Probably because I was up really late last night. I've only had about 4 hours sleep, so this is going to be interesting. Because basically, I'm off work. It's the Christmas break, isn't it? So my regular music job, I don't have to turn up to, which is amazing. I have milk in it, Stelly, yet. So, some interesting things are going to happen. So today I'm going to get my hair done, and that's going to happen this afternoon. Oh, and then I'm going to pop out and I'm going to get the new computer, which I'm kind of glad I'm getting, but not looking forward to, because there's the whole kind of setup of it. But then there is all, after once that's done, there's all the possibilities for new improvements on the live stream. One of them I'm going to toy about with is like, I don't know if you've got this, Stelly, but have you got FabFilter 4 yet? I've got FabFilter 4, so I got it just a few days, about a week ago actually. But obviously, like in FabFilter 4, you've got the different analog settings, haven't you? You've got clean, subtle, and warm. And on warm mode, it does do that analog circuitry. It does mimic it. You have no FabFilter plugins, right? I'm surprised. I would have thought you would have had one. So it's a super efficient EQ. So I'm thinking about possibly putting that and replacing the SSL, maybe. But there's a couple of tests I want to do. The cool thing about the FabFilter is there's no AI in it. I mean, that's not a cool thing, because I quite like the Sonable one. But what it does have is it's got built into it the spectral EQing compression, which would be quite good, because whenever you're playing guitars, you do always get that kind of harsh frequency top end, and it's also got the dynamic EQ on it, which it's always had for since I can remember. But the dynamic EQ's really, really handy, especially on guitars. When you get like palm muting and the volume raises, you can just put that on and it kind of nicely smooths it out. So that's a couple of things that I'm kind of interested in. Having said that, you know, the SSL stuff's very, very good, and it does actually work perfectly fine on the live. So there's a couple of things. I was up late last night. I just got it in my head that like I need to do more work on my picking. So that was really good, doing the lesson on everything you need to know on pickings. Actually brought me round to thinking about my picking technique. So I've been doing a little bit of work on that over the last few days, which has been great, because it's given me the motivation. If I'm not motivated to do something like an exercise, I'm not like a routine exercise person where it's like I'm going to do, you know, 15 minutes picking, 15 minutes legato. I don't do any of that. I like to be making music with my techniques all the time, getting new licks going, and really learning that way. And then, when I'm learning a new technique or something, I might then expand it across the fretboard and do exercises that way. But certainly once I get it under my fingers, I'm just like then playing it. I'm making music with the thing. But I did have to do some rudimentary exercises, but I had the focus to do it, and the motivation, which was good. Look who's on here. Whoa. Needs a new cup. Ha 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 ha. I need a new cup. So there's Freakstar. And basically watching. I think we all start using the same plugins. The music starts sounding identical. We have the potential of that. But I think like an EQ is an EQ, isn't it? I mean, everybody was using the SSL desk, weren't they? And there were so many hits kind of done on that. But it's with regarding like EQ and channel strips, it's what you stick through the thing that I think's important. There's still a lot of signal chain that is going to be different. Imperfections are good, which is why it's got an analog mode on it, which I like. All right, back in the day, I was able to recognize certain artists by the sound. Absolutely. But was it the notes as well as the sound, or just the sound? There you go, Freakstar. Good morning. Merry Christmas to you, Freakstar. Oh, I'm off now. Just thought I would say hello to the gang. All right, very good. See you later. Oh, there's Perplexity. Greetings all. Do I have a favourite mode to play? I think actually I really like the Aeolian Natural Minor, and I think that's just because I get used to it because I end up using it like tons. So not particularly. Actually, incidentally, I don't really use the Lydian very much because I think it's just I really associate it with the Joe Satriani, Steve Vai sort of thing. So I don't do it, but it's a cool sounding mode, which is what we're doing today. Phrygian, a little bit of that. That's okay. Dorian, Natural Minor, Aeolian would be two that I definitely use. Definitely use like major scale and sometimes Mixolydian. I've accidentally wrote the odd song that sounded cool but ended up in Locrian. Jeff Mills always had a distorted kick and you knew it was him. Yeah. Like distorted 909. Yes, I spent many a time fiddling with 909s till I just used to sample other artists and use that. In fact, I've got a mint artist kick drum collection. It's really good. I'm still proud of it to this day. The amount of time I spent. Yeah. But the 909, you see, like the thing is, like with the 909, I was really into that sound when I was doing tech house, but really like dirty tech house, like stuff you'd hear on Turbo XL, which is a label. Maybe DFT. What's it? Defected. DFTD. Quite like DFTD, but it became very, very commercial, so I had to go elsewhere. Right, okay, so other pressing matters before I get started. Christmas tree. Obviously, I've got a proper Christmas tree upstairs. So that's a Christmas tree. So we'll put it somewhere. Right, there's the Christmas tree. Now, I've got a fairy, which technically could go on the Christmas tree like that, but it doesn't really. And I've got some baubles as well, but they don't really go on properly. Right, that looks crap, doesn't it? Let's have a look. Yeah. So we've got a choice with the fairy. The fairy could go on the speaker like that, right? So we could have the fairy up there. Or the fairy could go down here because I was thinking that if I zoom in here, you can see the fairy. So what do you think? Fairy on the speaker or fairy next to the tree? I'll hand that over to you guys. Oh, there was a flash of something. Computer acting up because it's on its last day today. I mean, Jeff Mills always had a distorted kid, knew it was him. Exactly. He still does it. He still does it. It might fall from the speaker. It might. So, I think we do have to think of angel health and safety. So I think we'll probably put it there, unless somebody, unless we, a few people say, "No, put it on the speaker." But it wouldn't hurt itself if it fell from the speaker. But anyway, because I did say it was festive Lydian mode. So I remember watching a while ago Rick Beato, and he was on about the Lydian mode, and it's a favourite for film composers if they want anything to sound. He put it as heavenly. So and I thought, well, that's a good call yesterday because heavenly, Christmas, that kind of thing, could sound Christmassy, couldn't it? And dramatic. Oh, there's a bit of sound design. Oh, got myself a footstool, new footstool, brilliant. So yes, the Lydian scale can sound heavenly. It's also like a kind of very cynical sounding major scale. And the reason I say that is because we've got to have a think of the intervals. Is it okay to start now doing my little teachy bit? I haven't really planned this, right? So bear with me. Right, so I think what's really useful with modes is to associate your own sort of emotion or sound for that. So, for example, if I'll go through all the modes, right, and we have like the Ionian, we know that's the major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? We all know that. We're all programmed with that as children in school. The Dorian mode, okay, I think of that as like a minor scale for major 6, so it's like a happy minor scale, but it can also sound quite adventurous, like bad guys chasing over rooftops, but it's also gives you that BB King sound, and it's really a good note to put in with sort of minor blues stuff. And there's only one note difference between that and the natural minor scale, and it's just that it has this raised major 6. So we go through the modes like that, we can kind of think about associating sounds. Phrygian, we can associate that with, like Dorian, we can associate with Greg Howe and all those fusion players. Phrygian, Yngwie Malmsteen, Metallica riffing, Spanish music. We can also add a harmonic minor note to that, or in other words, in the Phrygian, a major third. makes it even more flamenco-y and Yingwi-ish and dark, but in a romantic way. So you can associate all of these kind of feelings with stuff, and that's a really good thing. Lydian, you can Steve I, Joe Satriani sound. We can also think of it as a sort of a very, I think, cynical major scale. It's like something happened to it that might not have been too good, but also on the flip side of it, it can have a very beautiful heavenly sound. It can be a sound that can evoke memories. Okay, and it's very mindful when you get going with it. The Lydian, what are we up to? Mixer Lydian, quite good with country music. It's same as a major scale, but like the Ionian, but it has a dominant seventh. It has a flattened seventh sound. But other than that, it's just a regular major scale with like this one note difference, a bit like the Lydian. And then after Mixer Lydian, we have Aeolian, which we know is a natural minor. So Hutch. Most of a lot of McRocklin Hutch is in that scale, in the major scale. And we have Locrian, which is technically a half diminished sound, very, very dark, maybe used in gypsy jazz. Not often that used, although I don't like to say it's not often that used in popular music, but it is something that maybe should be used more. So, that's a little overview of the modes, but we're going for mode 4. It's like sometimes if you want to sound really cool, you don't even have to refer to the name. You can go mode 4. Like when you're talking about like the Messiaen modes, people go, oh, Alan Holdsworth used mode 3 and mode 6. So it just makes it sound a bit more covert, doesn't it? So mode 4 is the Lydian. Now, if we superimpose the Lydian scale over a regular major scale, so if you're looking, at a keyboard, like that, not that keyboard, this keyboard, you would have, you've got C to C, and if we number the keys 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right, and then we're back to 1 here, aren't we? And it repeats. What we're doing is we're sharpening the fourth, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, sharpen. So 1, 2, 3, missed that now, and we're going to there, and that's the only difference in that scale to a major scale, the sharpened fourth. So we need to bear that in mind, okay, as we progress with this. Right. So, what I thought we'd do is we'll do this in A minor, because there's no sharps and flats, and it's also a little bit easier for me to do some substitutions, because not only today are we going to learn the Lydian mode, what we are going to do is we're going to look at how we can use this in improvisation, of course, and we're also going to have a look at different sort of pentatonic substitutions, and we can grind through that and see how that goes. So this was my thinking yesterday, like, what can we do? How can we make it playable? That kind of thing. Maybe make some licks. Hi, Texas Jack. So I will email you today. It was a very busy day yesterday. As soon as I was off the stream, I was doing my walk and I was in the car, and it was my last day doing my regular music job before coming home. And then practicing loads. Today's going to be busy. I'm going to be setting up the new computer. So, which Stelly asked about. Well, laptop. And I went for, I'm going for the MacBook M4 Max Pro 16-inch. What colour should I get? Oh, shall I get black or shall I get silver? Help me out, guys. Black or silver? What do you want to look? Because you've got to look at it as well. Do I get black or do I get silver? Black. Stelly says black. Anybody else? All right, so let's have a look at this. All right, using full-on distortion. All right, so because we're playing in a mode, right? This is really important. I'm separating out the Lydian mode from everything else, and we're talking about this one scale. But actually, what I should have done is just said, look, we're going to do modes, but I'll give you the lowdown on this, and I'm sure most people will know this, right? But when you know your major scale, right, C to C, all the modes are contained in that. So logically, okay, if you know that one, like C major scale, across the entire fretboard, if this wasn't a piano and it was a fretboard and a guitar, and I just use this because it's easy. So if you're just playing all the white notes, you can play every mode, can't you? So therefore, you only need to learn really one scale to access all the other scales. The rest of it is just experience and playing and understanding the function of each one. But the actual physical playing of it is the same. Okay, so in a lot of ways, we can think of it as like one scale. So I don't really like to go, well, if we're playing C major and we're starting from the F, that is the Lydian, scale. All right, it's, to me, it's all C major. Or normally what I'll do is actually I relate all of my modes to the minor. Really, if I start the F here, technically, this would be the first position Lydian. Right, let's have a closer look. All right, so let's get into shot here. All right, so we've got this. So 3 there, and this is the Lydian bit, right? Because normally a major scale, if we're doing F major, the first finger would be just playing the perfect 4th there. But we're sharpening that 4th for the Lydian, and that's the only difference. So that's our root position. Which I don't like to say, because actually all of the positions... Oh, there's Magnador. How you doing, Magnador? Christmas festive modes, get your guitar and join in. Magnador's like a really cool, interesting... You just got to hear it, okay? We did, Freakstar did a collaboration with Magnador. Really good, and it's on Spotify. Chemical Dreams, it's called. Brilliant, and we should do more. But definitely check Magnador out. I'm great, thank you. No, I'm all good. We're doing festive. It's a bit of a guitar lesson. We're doing festive modes, believe it or not. Not festive mode, festive Lydian mode. We're only doing the one today. So anyway, there are different ways, right? And I will take people through this, right? That we can learn our scales, right? So one of them is you can do the Paul Gilbert Shred 80s thing, where we can just learn every single finger position, 3 notes per string, which is okay. Because you've got symmetry, haven't you? Everything's standardized. And we can go up every scale position, yeah. I'm flying through them because I'm far too impatient. I can't be bothered to finish the rest off. But anyway, you can just type into the net 3 notes per string. okay? And usually when I'm doing sort of the 1, 3, 4 fingerings, like say here, if you want, when you're organising your fingerings, right, for these scale positions, when I'm lower down, it tends to be 1, 2, 4 is one of the governing factors of whether I use 1, 2, 4 or 1, 2 or 1, 3, 4. So it's either that or it's that. But it also depends on what's happening before or after. So on this particular part of the scale, we've got a lot of 1, 2, 4s happening here, and then we've only got 1, 1, 3, 4. So for muscle memory, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. Makes loads of sense, doesn't it? So that's what I'm working on with my picking my down descending stuff. Anyway, so there we go. So that's a little bit of an overview. Now, I really need constant feedback from my learners on this, that you understand what I'm talking about, okay? Because I'm on holiday, I can spend a bit more time doing this lesson, because I would rather do a thorough job, okay, and have people understand what this is than them just to go away and go, don't know. Having said that, there's always the follow-up. You can, let these things percolate in the brain, and then insight will happen, and then you'll have questions, which is very important that you come back to me with those questions, because there's no such thing as a silly question. There's no such thing as a silly question, and I want to hear what those questions are. I've asked the most stupidest questions, especially as a beginner. Do I have to play right-handed? Why not left-handed and upside down? Why not, things like that. I've done it all. Here we go. Right, so I'm assuming we're all good up to this point. So I've had a little overview of modes. We kind of know where the Lydian mode is amongst the harmony of the scale. I've suggested learning things 3 notes per string and the entire fretboard. So we can go this way. You can learn things across, which is very important. We can learn scales going up 1 string, which you need to do. We need to learn groups of 6s, that kind of stuff. So you just need to learn lots of different patterns. And then, that's something you can build up over time, or I'll, be showing people stuff as those questions arise on the channel. So I made a little bit of a backing track last night. I didn't spend too long on it. Let's have a listen. Right, that didn't work. Oh, beautiful. I had to put a little bit of a vocal on there. Arpeggio's a bit loud though. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to turn that arpeggio off for now. Alright, so just have a listen to this backing track a second. So the backing track is just a static thing. I think like Lydian stuff works really nicely static. And we're in F Lydian, which we know to be, if you relate it to the natural minor, A natural minor, or C major, all the white notes. And the chord on it that we've got, the chord that's in the background, I believe, is this. And then I think it switches to that. So what I wanted from the outset is to just have a chord that's very, very Lydian sounding. So if we look at a major 7, what I did is I went, well, what's the Lydian note of this chord? And it's the B note. That's the thing that's given us the Lydian sound. So that could be a Lydian chord. But I didn't like the sound of that, so I just stuck it up here. and then I doubled the major 7. So that really is the sound. So it's got a little bit of discordance in it. I mean, if you play the intervals on their own, it's quite jarring and harsh, isn't it? Because underneath it all, that is the sound. And when you're playing modes, the sound of a mode is always in the semitones. Round the notes that are different to the major scale, so that's what we get. Right, so let's have a listen to what that B note is doing. So the B note is the sharp 4. That's a major. There's our major 3rd. Sorry, major 7, because we're in F. So, undeniably, that is the sound. I think it does sound quite heavenly, and I do think it sounds like a cynical major scale that's had its foot stood on, but and isn't very happy. But when I'm playing this, I'm thinking of the scale, all right, in a very traditional sense. But you know, we need to. It's great to be thinking about the intervals, and it's great to be thinking about, you know, the tension and release of things, and we're going to come to that. But the way that I'm going to do it, apart from the sharp 4, and well, I made that mistake, was the E. E over F, that's a major 7. So that also contains quite a lot of dissonance as well. So yes, the dissonance is great and so fluid. Nice, thank you. All right, so let's think about what happens if we start using pentatonic scales. And what's really good about this using the pentatonic substitution with the aim of getting a Lydian sound, it means that we can pretty much use our muscle memory, our existing muscle memory of our licks and things like that, and just basically install them into this new sound without any effort. Okay, it's just whatever you were playing before, we can stick in here. And there's 3 choices which I quite like, and the 2 really common ones are basically what we can do is when we're in F Lydian, we can actually use the D minor pentatonic scale. Okay, and the reason I'm using D minor pentatonic, what I'm actually doing is I'm using the D minor's F major, so I'm overcomplicating things. So we're using the F major pentatonic scale, just I think of it as D minor. So in other words, we can go to the root position. And if we're thinking of, the D minor over like an F major chord, we get these notes, don't we? We get F, which is the root, and we get a ninth, okay? We get a third, and we get a fifth, okay? We get major sixth, and we're back to the root, okay? But we haven't got a sharpened fourth. So a bit like when I think of like hexatonic scales, what we need to do is we just add in the B, okay? And by adding the B note in, that gives us the sharp 4, doesn't it? Okay, and we get that Lydian sound. Now, the way I think of it is, you could do this. I don't think of like playing separate pentatonic scales up and down when I'm practicing this with that B note in. I don't particularly find that helpful. What I do is I just think of it as the pentatonic scale, but I'm adding a B note in where sort of available. So so that's all pentatonic. I haven't put any B notes in yet. There we go. So we've got some stuff happening there. Right, so Texas Jack question. What are you using for your guitar sound plugin modeler? Asking for a friend. I'm using Nunchuck. Allow me to show you. This is it. Dun, 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 dun. Just new by Polychrome. Obviously, I'm in a band with Thomas, who's one of the developers, and this is an amazing. You actually get my presets in this as well. So I did a little bit of sound design. Yay! Who'd have ever thought I was a sound designer? I've come good. But yeah, this is Nunchuck. So commercial break for Nunchuck. You've got your modded Marshall. I'm going to do a proper video on this at some point. You've got your 4 drives and an octavator, speakers, speaker chains, not just an IR, EQ, and effects. So that's what I use. That's my thing. And it's my favourite as well. Okay, so but then all my other stuff, I'm using lots of other Polychrome stuff as well. And yeah, it's a great sound. So that's our D minor. Let's just have a listen to the scale. Play up. Okay. Everybody getting the idea? D minor over F Lydian pentatonic. D minor pentatonic over F Lydian. Or you could think of it as F major pentatonic. I've spent a while working on it. Texas. So it's just a great way of getting about. I mean, I do economy picking and stuff, but I just love the sound of it. I can really fit into things a lot better than picking. So musically, it's easier to sort of get in there. Right, okay, so D minor, F major pentatonic gets us using our existing whatever we were playing on our pentatonic stuff. All of our blues licks can now kind of go into this. But it doesn't just stop there, okay? The D minor pentatonic, or C major pentatonic, does give us a root note, okay, which sort of is fairly helpful. But another substitution, which is really popular, and I've heard bands like Chon and things like that doing it, is actually using the pentatonic scale. So if I'm thinking minor, I'm playing the minor pentatonic scale a semitone below the root of the Lydian mode, okay? So we're in F Lydian, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play E minor pentatonic scale over that. So the way to find it, there's your F chord, okay? F power chord, and the pentatonic scale is just one semitone down, okay? And this is a really good substitution, because although we don't get the root, what we do get is we get a major 7, and we get our 9th note. We still get a major 3rd. We get the sharp 4. And the major 6. So getting late here in Texas, got an early morning, but really appreciate this channel and your presentation, Tim. Cheers to all who are watching. Cool. It's a pleasure. It is a pleasure. So, where was I? Yeah, so we've got our E minor pentatonic. Oops. Which we're now going to play over F Lydian. And again, the cool thing about this, we're using our existing pentatonic stuff. So that's another thing we can do. So what we've got is we've got our basically 2 pentatonic scales that we can use, D minor adding the B note in to get the sharp 4. We can use E minor, which gives us our sharp 4 and a 9th note, and also a major 7. So that's a really cool one to use. The only thing it doesn't give us is the root. Yeah, so we just got to add that in. Oops. See, sounds very Lydian, that. There we go. Right, coffee break. Coffee break and Christmas tree appreciation. All right. Okay, questions, everybody. We've got quite a few of you on here, which is brilliant. So I do right. So do like if you're new on here, do subscribe to the channel. Really important. Subscribe to the channel and make sure you give me some thumbs up. We're on 13 thumbs. I need another one. Look, we've got coffee, camera, close up. Obviously, this is the second cup, so my cup looks really dirty and minging and horrible. But then again, you know, this is the reality of being a musician. We don't always have a clean cup every time we have a coffee. So, you know, this is the reality. Keeping it real. So, yeah, some questions in the chat would be great. Perplexity, have you got a coffee handy? Yeah, brilliant. Coffee break and sign in while watching so you can interact and give a thumbs up and subscribe. Yeah, because that's what I need. I also need some watch hours, and then I'll hit 3,000, which means people can donate. Not that you have to, but I just like the idea of, you know, you never know. You never know what might happen. However, talking about money, I do run a music coaching business. So if anybody's interested in being coached into making absolutely tons of original music, then do get in touch with me. I think I'll do a live where I go more into the coaching sort of details of that. Just I'm having a bit of fun teaching at the minute. You leave the stream going for days. Oh yeah, I could. So do you think I should just leave it on? All right, there's a good idea. Yeah, I could just leave it on, couldn't I? And then what would people watch? Do you think they'd just put it on? I've only got another 50 hours or something to go, you know, Stelly. And have some music playing. Yeah, I could do. I don't know if I like the idea of that. It's a bit of a cheap call, isn't it? I'm gonna do it through pure hard work. Yeah, hard work. Oh, I got one more thumbs up. That's brilliant. But 4 people have left. I'm only having a coffee break. You're gonna miss the really good bit now. I've saved the best bit to last of my completely unplanned lesson. And what I am gonna do is I'm gonna show you some licks. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm going to spend the rest of the time just breaking down some of the things that I actually play that aren't necessary. And, you know, I'll get to it in a bit. So anybody got any cool plans for Christmas? I'm going to go see the local light show that's in the park. Obviously, the wildlife in the park have got all these neon lights that they're looking at, wondering what the hell's going on. But I'll be going to see that. Got free tickets as a resident. What else? Trip to Edinburgh, because that's very Christmassy. And I think that's all. Oh, go see the Godmother at some point. That's something to look forward to. And what else have I got? This is the way. Add some music. I could just stream a load of stuff, couldn't I? Dream stream. Just have that on. It's a thought. Hmm. Got me thinking. Anyway, so Stelly, where you are, it'll be very Christmassy, won't it? You'll have to send. Can you send me some more pictures of like Christmas stuff round your ends on your travels? Because it cheered me up, the giant snowflake video. Oh, that was good. I mean, that's the one thing. Like when I was a kid, UK weather, like this. Oh, you might have a bad Christmas. I don't want you to have a bad Christmas. Yeah, I've seen the giant snowflakes, but I don't know. I thought like you might have like amazing Christmas markets in front of like chateaus and medieval castles. Oh, like yes. So adding sharpened fifth, minor sixth. Don't use that. I should though. But yeah, the snow in the UK used to be like really deep, and then it just all disappeared, and we don't really have. God. Hutch, do your relatives ask you to play guitar? That's always awkward for me on how to respond. They don't understand my music at all. I just go, why haven't you got any vocals on it? That's all they say. They don't really get it. But there's, I only have my godmother now, bless her. So I'm pretty much an orphan. But yeah, it's just like, I mean, she plays piano. She does like the organ for church, and that kind of thing. She knows a bit about music, which is just like, yeah, it's like good, like your technique and all that kind of stuff. But why? She'll say, did you see Leona Lewis play the other night? And her band was lovely, and all really smart and tidy, and they didn't have hair like yours. Maybe you could smarten yourself up, that kind of thing. You'll get. So yeah. I mean, the missuses always want me to write songs. Where does that count? But then that just gets serious, and that's like Father Ted, So I'll be in there going, and then I'll do this, and then she'll go, "Oh, that was a good tune. I've got a lyric for that," and then I'll go, and then she'll go, "That wasn't it." No, play the thing you did before. Or like, that wasn't it. No, the thing you played before, and then it'll just go into an argument. Right, and then I'll get near it. And then she'll go, stop there. Think. What was the next chord you did? That one, right. Okay. But I just want you to go around this bit. And then it just goes on like that for hours. And then she'll grab this mic and go, right, now record. And I'll go, I'm not set up. Why are you not set up? Inspiration could hit at any point. This is ridiculous. You're meant to be a professional producer. I'm like, well, I'm just not set up for vocals. Why not? And on we go. Right. However, I do have a sing song. I do get the acoustic guitar out and I sing through songs and stuff at Christmas. That's always a laugh. Yeah, and then it's just like, and then I'll set the mic up, and then she'll go, I can't do it now. You've killed me. I can't do it. And then I have to spend ages going, oh, come on, you're a really good singer. I know, it's just I'm sorry, I wasn't. Next time I'll be set up, but I'm set up now. Will you do it? Oh, all right, okay then. Then she's on the mic, and then go, right, run the track, and then she'll go, and blast through a whole song, go, did you record that? And I'll be like, no. Why didn't you record it? That was the best take. I can't do it again. So, yeah. I can work with myself really well. That's fine. It's like, no, like nothing bad's gonna happen. Right, okay. Lydian type things. Okay, well, we've got to add some chromaticism into this, haven't we? So let's have a think about that. We'll have a think. People who don't know much. Yeah, people who don't know much want to direct and want a magical experience without the work. That's it, like the classic DJ and producer combinations. One's a tastemaker and the other one's just a studio slave. You see that all the time, like Future Music magazine. There's like tons of like in the studio with. Yeah. And you've got the DJ guy, and usually he's sat there and say anything, and then it's the studio servant, slave, butler, doing all the work and explaining how it works, and they're just like, yeah, well, they just sit there going, yeah, that's right, yeah, that's good. Honestly, the world of dance music's like funny place, isn't it? Like how people just like now I'm back into guitar playing. I'm like, what's it all about? A lot of it, vibe. That's what it's about. It's about vibe. Right. What it's not about is chromatic enclosures. I know that. Right. So what we could think about to getting into chromaticness, we could think about what notes we want to land on. All right. So we're in obviously F Lydian. B is going to be a good target note, isn't it? So we could do a chromatic roll onto that. Let's see what it's like. Well, that's good. So that's a nice little place to improvise where we've got sort of like an arpeggio improvisation type thing going there. I'll take you through it. So the first part of this lick that I'm doing vaguely is I'm just doing a little chromatic roll. So we've got the D note and we're just pulling off. When I say pull off, it's more like a brush off. I'm not really wanting that sound. I'm not really wanting to hear the legato, and the reason being is I want the legato to kind of match my hammers on. So that's an important thing to practice, is just getting the two things to match if you're wanting that sound. I mean, if you like the sound of the legato, then some players do like that. So, pulling off, and I'll just pop those two notes in. And really, the pattern that I'm thinking of is I'm thinking of like an F major 7. And then I'm adding other notes in, so that F major 7 becomes much more of an extended arpeggio. So if we think of the chromatic bit, and a slide into that position, I'm just kind of playing with that idea. It's just using it as a limitation to improvise with. So if we really just stuck with those notes, this is what we'd get. To make things interesting with your whammy bar. You even run down it. Okay. Then the other part of this visualization for me, which is it's a kind of a visualization with a limitation, is I'll then extend this F major 7 arpeggio. So we can add in the 9th and a root. So that's another part of it. Okay, so we can have some extra notes in. Let's add some more notes in. Everybody following this? So far we've got our chromatic thing, which is a great place to start. These 2 notes. A slide down. And then we're into this sort of like F major 7 idea. And what I'm doing is I'm building it up in layers. So you can actually think of your F major 7 as a A minor arpeggio, because A minor is contained in that. We can add a 9th. We can extend it into my favourite thing, which is 3-1-3, so it's almost like a scale. The arpeggios get like a scale now, so... and do a cheeky hybrid on there. Let's try that. Okay, starting to extend out now. Let's add some more chromaticism in. So we've got this bit sliding down. We've got this sort of frame with a heavily extended F major 7 arpeggio into, 11s and 13s, whatever. We don't have to worry about the note. We've just got to think about the sound, really. But now we can add in, all the fusion-y kind of chromatic stuff. Okay, let's try it. I'll show you that end enclosure in a minute. Okay, so moving on to something else. Right, so some chromatic ideas. A little chromatic enclosure, this one's good. I quite like doing that. So I'll show you that. Starting on the E and pulling off. So we've got an F sharp, which is out. You could even have an approach note as well, so that would sound like, which is quite nice. So we'll have our approach note sliding into the E, which we're in tune, hammering onto the G with an in tune note. We're going to a chromatic note, which is F sharp, that's not part of it, and then slide into the F. And we get that. If that was too much, you could slide from the D. In fact, I really like that D flat. There's lots of like slippy, slidey, chromatic ideas we can have in there. Let's extend out. We can add in, well, we can continue with A minor. And then connect this to the other things that we've got. So it's all about making connections, isn't it? So there's a nice little sort of idea. So we've got from the 12th fret, 3rd string, 1st finger, 3rd on the 14th, 2nd finger, 1st finger on the 12th, so there's a nice little starty bit. And then we can use that other chromatic bit to connect it. So now we're sort of in the A minor 7 arpeggio. We can add another pentatonic scale in. So this time what I'm going to add in is I'm going to add in a minor pentatonic, which we all know. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of my licks on this one. So I've got this little arpeggio pentatonic thing. So the way this goes is, we've got root, hammer to the 17th, we've we've got second finger on the 14th on the 4th string, first finger on the 12th third, hammering on the 17, third finger on 15, second string, first finger on the 12th fret, first string, and then hammering on the 17. And what I'll do is I'll go pick, 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 and then just legato hammers only on the way down. Another way we can do it is it's picking both ways. Or the other way I like to do things, I really like doing a hybrid. So if you're going to hybrid it, you want to go pick, hammer, pick, hybrid, hammer, pick, hybrid. And then you're picking from the second string down. Okay, so adding in just A minor pentatonic, really good. Let's do some more just that. Sounds great, doesn't it? Right now, do ask questions on, because I'm racing ahead with lots of like lick ideas here. You know, it's like racing mind happening, which is good. Just let me know if you want me to go over something really important. Do let me know. And give some likes. I need some more thumbs up. I need encouragement here. Any questions? Don't worry, I haven't stopped. There's no need to leave. We've got a little bit more to go. I'm enjoying doing these licks. I'll just play for a bit. Okay. So, I was trying to blend techniques on the fretboard, but forgot where the pull-off was in the progression. Going to have to wait and watch the video later in the stream. Right, hold on. Let me just see if we can shortcut. I was trying to blend the techniques on the fretboard, but forgot where the pull-off was in the progression. Going to have to wait. Right, okay. So it's happening all the time, right, in the lick, the pull-offs. Let's just have another little recap on the... I think what it is we've got to think of the framework, the idea, right? So, if we're doing something chromatic, we're just pulling off down to the notes for that lick. I mean, if we're going up, we're going to do hammers on. Oh, right. Yes, you got to... Hold on, where's my chat? Oh. Right, it's a bit easier if I do it this way. Going to be going over this tomorrow as I've been pulling a batch of bone broth out of the slow cooker. Very good. Wonder what you're going to be making with that. So I hope that kind of helps. Perplexity. I mean, technique-wise, you know, I'm using a lot of hammers, like using a lot of legato only, so there's not really any action from this hand. So it's just that. And I think what I might do is I might do a lesson next week just on the muting of strings. Yeah. Because we all want that clean legato sound. Right, that's brilliant. In all of my compositions, I use all of the techniques. Thing is, I write from what I hear in my head, and that's brilliant, and that's what we should be doing. Because it sounds like you're composing and you're writing music with insight. You know, we're not I mean, you see, I'm teaching at the same time, so I'm very conscious of siloing particular techniques, and it's very difficult actually. Like, this is another thing that I've been doing on these lives and practicing, and I don't think I've really mentioned this, but one thing when you start live streaming and then somebody asks you to show you a particular lick you're playing, and then you've got to think about it. You're thinking about it whilst teaching them, whilst trying to play the thing, and your technique and everything just absolutely turns to shit, right? It's just like horrendous. Like, being on a live stream and trying to teach guitar, I really have to forget about the fact that I'm actually teaching something and really just try and get in the flow of it. It's quite difficult. So, like, a lot of what I'm doing here, it's not necessarily how I totally naturally play because I'm siloing different techniques so we can hear them. So we can hear them in isolation. So that's all very good, and blending all those techniques seamlessly is what we're aiming for, isn't it? Um, I've been composing my own songs since I was 5 years old. Brilliant, excellent. I wonder what your first song was. Mr. Hutch, you're excellent at teaching. You keep my attention. That means a lot. Brilliant. That's excellent. It's interesting the teaching. I mean, it's fun teaching. I mean, I can't like. I mean, I'm done with like teaching. So I remember having a job as a music teacher once. Luckily, I was coaching and doing my therapeutic music as well as part of it, but I would have to teach, and we'll have a governing board in the UK called Ofsted, and they would come and basically sit in your classroom and watch you teach and assess you, and there would be lots of like during the year mock assessments, so you would have to do like lesson plans, and it was I ended up doing like paperwork, so before I could do anything, right, you'd have to have your lesson plan, and you'd have to have like properly worded using the correct verbs your aims and objectives, all right, and all this stuff, and like then what was going to happen, the body of your teaching thing, and then your review and all of this nonsense, and then you had to have your class learner profile, so you had to have like a little bit about each learning, how what was the preference of each learner, and your class profile. Then you had a scheme of work, which was your entire course, like in mini lesson plans, and then I had what was it? Learner. It's always learner this, learner that. Like if they had special requirements, I can't remember what it was called. And then I'd have to have that, and then do referrals if people needed like support with like dyslexia and things like that. And all of this documentation used to have to triangulate and make sense, and it was ridiculous. I like this. Just watching you is a lesson in itself. And that is why everyone needs to give this stream a thumbs up there. Absolutely. More thumbs up would be brilliant. More views, more subscribe. Watch this back, you know, for the licks and things like that. Actually, I've really enjoyed doing, one of the things I've really enjoyed doing today is just doing like licks and just showing you things and then breaking them apart and showing you how that sort of like the thinking behind that. So I'm going to do more of that. There's going to be more, you know, learn this particular lick. So that's quite good, because in a way they're just like little mini compositions, aren't they? Definitely. The other thing is, if you obviously subscribe and like, there's a link to the Discord, so you can join the Discord as well. And if there's any particular things anybody wants to request me to do on a live stream, you can always do that in Discord or in the comments, which people very rarely do. You've got there's a chance here where you might want me to. I don't know everything, and certainly if it's an interesting thing you want to know about, and it's of my personal interest as well, I'm going to research it and do all the hard work for you. So it's a brilliant resource. I mean, you couldn't, and free as well. I mean, it's just excellent. So, if you want my sort of view on things or how to use something, or you're not sure whether you want to spend or invest the time, you can always come here and ask. And I can show you, and you can, because that's the one thing, difficult thing, especially about playing guitar. Should I do this technique? Should I do that technique? Because it's all the thing you're investing is time, and once time's gone, we're not getting it back. We're only here on the planet for so long. So if we can save time, it's brilliant. Like I'll go get. I mean, I've had about probably about 6, maybe 8 lessons from Rick Graham. And the reason is just to make sure I'm doing things how it should be done, and also asking questions about, to make my mind up of whether I want to, pursue a particular thing. So, and it saves time, I did leave you a PM on Discord only because I didn't want to announce my question to every. Right, okay, I will. Oh God, I'm terrible at checking that. I will check that. So that sounds good. Okay. But as I say, there's no such thing as a ridiculous question. You wouldn't, it's perfectly fine. We're all learning. Learning's a lifelong experience, and I did a weird masters. Like I did like music, fine art, and it was all experimental composition, and it was on a scholarship. And I got stuck with fine art students, and I honestly didn't know what the hell I was in. I didn't know what I was doing. I was on this course. I'd never studied any of this stuff. Ridiculous. And the only way to get through it, the quickest way to actually get through, was to ask questions which were all like you would have classed them as ridiculous questions, like so obvious, and people like, hey, what's he on about? And I'm like, well, I'm a musician, and I'm kind of researching into pulling visual concepts into making music, but I need to know more about the visual side, and obviously there was lots of very basic, very obvious, and not very clued up like questions. But what I will say, by asking all those questions, I built very good foundations, and because I had those foundations and got over the silly questions, it built a huge amount of confidence. So then I was confidently in asking any question that was ridiculous because I just wanted to know. And I learned very, very good. It was a pivotal moment because when I was at school, right, I was scared to ask questions, and I think this is probably important to share this with the people who are on there. Remember, I'd had severe dyslexia, and back then people weren't sure if I was stupid or not, because I didn't really believe, like, dyslexia wasn't like a thing. And luckily I got diagnosed properly by it at a really young age and got really good coping strategies. So, not everything was lost, and, it served me very well. But the thing is, I would be in a class for all of my entire school career, wanting to ask questions, and a lot of those questions were really good, and I was also wanting to answer questions, but I was too scared to say anything in the classroom because of ridicule. So it's a horrible thing, and I'd just like to say to everybody here that there is no silly thing as a daft question. We shouldn't be like, we all need to have the confidence to ask these things, because I know it's like one of the biggest levers in learning something, and this channel's all about everybody progressing, okay? Not having to spend tons of money on the latest plugin and stuff like that, although I will say Nunchuck is amazing. And and all of Polychrome stuff is incredible, right? And Kiesel guitars are great, okay? But apart from that, okay, what we need to invest in is ourselves. That is the biggest investment. We don't need all the latest amazing gear and stuff like that. That'll happen as a symptom. But what we do need to do is we need to invest the time in our education. And part of that is having the confidence to ask ridiculous questions. So I want lots of ridiculous questions. This channel's like finding a needle in a haystack, so I'm glad I found it brilliant. And it's a pleasure to have you here. Anyway, I'm going to go for my walk in the park. But before I do, any final questions? If not, subscribe, like the channel. And there'll be more stuff like this. Remember, there's a whole world of music technology here, and I've got pushover here, and there's stuff happening on the studio. So we can always look at that as well. But apart from that, I'm going to head off now. So it's been a pleasure, everybody, and I will see you. Oh, that's the other thing. It's the holidays, so I haven't really got I'm probably not going to do the early morning streams. I'm probably going to do the early afternoon streams and the evening streams. So look out for those. All right then. So thank you everybody, and I'll see you soon.